Good evening, teams. I hope you enjoyed the brief interlude from the business messages yesterday when we were doing something a wee bit bacon and a wee bit different with myself. But hopefully we're back on point tonight and back with some business messages for you. Now, it feels right that we start to move out of what I would class as crisis mode and at times barely coping, now into more about workload management and as a new way of working as a business, that this is probably going to be how it is for the next few weeks as things settle down. So it's really now moving into a management and more consistent way of working than what we have been in the last 3 weeks. I'd just like to update on a few things tonight. The first one being finance. And it's incredibly frustrating for me, for you as teams, for my Scottish Government colleagues that we are in almost hourly contact with this, that I can't give you a definitive answer tonight about finance for additional workload and also what the impact that has on an Easter that I spoke to you about on Friday night. Now, I know tomorrow Martin Green, our chairman, he wants to speak to you about this, and we'll have that as part of Matt's video tomorrow. And I know how disappointing that is for you to hear, as similarly as disappointing for me to have you inform you of that tonight. If I could move on to PPE, can I just reiterate that the policy decision has been made that pharmacies will receive masks. Now, I know there were 2 further meetings today and some progress has been made. It's now all down to the logistics of delivery, the quantities that are involved, the replenishment process that has to go in the back of that to allow that to come back through to you, and all about how quickly that can happen now. Now, I'm expecting that Matt and I be providing you regular updates on this week as that goes ahead. But in the interim period, therefore, can we ask you to maintain as much as physically possible the social distancing 2-metre guidance that is out there, accepting that is incredibly difficult in most of your environments. So therefore, as much distance as is possible and regular hand washing remains the current guidance whilst the PPE is getting delivered to you. Just a small word, if I could, about NHS Pharmacy first. You should be aware that the rollout of that service is postponed for a whole host and number of reasons, particularly the situation that we're in. So you should now have started to receive NES Pharmacy First 1-pagers around supporting the rollout of this service. So please don't lose them. We're going to launch that later in the year and put them away for a safe place so that we can refer to them when we come to launch that particular service. NES did try and stop that for you, but unfortunately they've been printed, sent to the distributors before that was able to be stopped, and that's why you've got them in the pharmacies at the minute. So please don't lose them. We're going to use them later. Now, also just to let you know, if you haven't picked up, there's a new Scottish Government social media campaign specifically about community pharmacies and its role during this pandemic. It advises the public to expect longer times to receive their medication and to not overorder. I'm also assuming that the TV campaign will need to be recorded after the weekend's developments, and we'll push to make sure the pharmacy message is included. It had actually been included before, but unfortunately the news stations were still running the old one, so we'll do our best to see if we can get that rectified when that's re-recorded. In terms of testing, you may have seen in the news last night that the large drive-through facility being established at Glasgow Airport has been set up. So our early intelligence is that this is a UK Cabinet Office development, and the CPS policy team is on the case to find out more about how that affects you and your teams and how we can fit into this. And we'll give you more about that as we gather the information to pass out to you. So to move on now to the shout-outs. The first one's for Mark Bather and all the teams at Rollins. Mark was in touch on Friday night. So it's for the teams in Scotland doing an outstanding job, and thanks from Mark to everybody out there in their network. Got one here from Pam Chisholm, who's the lead pharmacist in Lothian in the palliative care network. And she'd like to give a big shout out to Jane Stewart from Boots in the Giles Centre, who came in on her day off to help move palliative care medicines to a West Lothian pharmacy who's having a huge demand and were running out of particular supplies. So big thanks to Jane for doing that. And then from Lucy in Mitchell's Pharmacy up in the NHS Highland, says a massive thanks to all the community pharmacies, the hospital, and primary care colleagues who are pulling together as never before, which is really nice to hear. Say they're remote and rural challenges, therefore they request an extra special fist bump for the team up there in Mitchell. So Lucy, there we go. Morrison's Pharmacy now in Aberdeen are doing a tremendous job under difficult circumstances, and that's from Annie, the pharmacy manager, who recognises your commitment. And I know she's not been able to be with you lately, but that's great. Thanks, Annie. And staying with NHS Grampian, thanks to all the team at the Anderson and Spence Pharmacy for all their hard work and dedication just now, and that's from Fiona Harris. So to finish off, Matt asked which band released the album In the City in 1977, and that was The Jam. So tonight's question for me comes from the classics. Who was the Greek god of dreams, and what links this to the pharmacy world? So who was the Greek god of dreams, and what links this to the pharmacy world? Thanks for your time tonight again, teams, and I'll see you all again on Wednesday. Bye for now.